Hi, I'm Kenna James, and I've known Kristen and Garrett for a while. I was a freshman when I first came here. It was their first night of youth group, and my boyfriend at the time brought me. And I remember hanging out with a lot of the youth kids at the time, and all of us were talking like, oh, we don't know this guy. Who are they going to be, and who's his wife? And so it was pretty interesting getting to know them on their first night. Then we went to youth convention, and I was pretty excited and pretty nervous. I was starting to get to know Kristen, and Kristen really made a point to connect with me and the other youth girls. So that was a whole experience there. And I remember being really touched by God at that time. And I was really struggling in my faith at that time. I had been going to church with my mom sometimes and sometimes not. I wasn't really sure where I was, and I really did feel God there. And it really presented to me through the way that everybody made an effort to talk to me or to talk to all the other girls. And I felt after a few days like, oh, I can talk to these people. I can talk to Kristen. And I know that she actually is a genuine person who wants to help me. So I walked away from the church for a while, thinking that I could live without God on my own. Didn't happen. As much as I wanted to connect back to God, I felt so disconnected. I was ashamed of a lot of the ways that I lived my life, not the way that God called me to, and I knew it. And so I felt like I couldn't face anybody. Even though I knew they wouldn't judge me, there's still that little bit that Satan likes to put in that just maybe they will. And so I walked away for a while. And I still stayed connected to Garrett and Kristen. They would frequently message me, and even though it would annoy me and I wouldn't reply sometimes, I was so thankful that they did. I finally took up one of their offers to go hang out with them, go hang out with Kristen, and I got to tell her that I was pregnant, and I was 17. And I just remember being so nervous, and she was like, okay, so who's throwing you a baby shower? And I still want to cry thinking about that because it was not the response I was waiting for. I was waiting for the, well, that wasn't a good idea, was it? And I am forever going to remember that. And it really touched my life. And that, again, was to me, God calling me saying, hey, these are my people and I'm trying to reach you, so come to me. This church has been welcoming with open arms to me every single time that I've walked away or come back, and I'm so thankful for that. So when my son was 15 months old, I started dating a guy that I was not sure about at first. But I remember hanging out with him and just going, God, what are you doing? This is not what I asked for. This can't be the guy that you want for me. Not that he wasn't sweet and wonderful, because he was, but he was not a Christian, and he was not who I thought that God wanted for me. And my son loved him right away. And that was unlike him, as social as he is, that he didn't just connect to people, and he really did. We went for a walk one day, and he grabbed his hand, and we looked at each other like, is this okay? Is this normal? And so I prayed about it. After a while, we'd been seeing each other for a few months, and I said, God, I want to know if this is really who you want for me. If he is, I'm going to invite him to church. And I'm just going to go over Sunday morning, wake him up, and invite him to church. And if his reply is without hesitation, yeah, sure, I'll go, those words exactly, then I will know that that is who you wanted for me. So shaking, I drive over to where he was living, and I open the door and I wake him up, poking him all anxiously, and I'm like, you want to go to church with me on Sunday morning? And he kind of blinks and is like, okay, yeah, sure. The words exactly. And in that moment, my heart just exploded. And I was like, God, okay, God is real, and he really does want me to be with this guy for some reason, and I am excited about this. So it was actually the first day that Garrett started as the official lead pastor at this church, and I was so excited because I knew that he would connect with Garrett so well, and he thoroughly enjoyed that day and was like, you know, I think I will go with you again. Yeah, I've gone to a few churches before, but this one feels different. Like I really feel something. And he's like, everyone was so nice and welcoming. And I'm like, yes. And so he decided to start going with me, and he almost went almost every single Sunday for about a year. And we grew closer and closer as he would grow closer to God, and helping me grow closer to God as my faith was being strengthened while his faith was building. And then October of 2017, he got baptized. And as I'm recording it, I'm shaking and crying and so proud and so excited. And he was so excited and so proud of himself, as he should be. And we were both so thankful that God led us in this direction, and that we listened to God to stay with each other, and that to just trust God, as hard as that is. And we got married the following month, and November 4th, 2017. And we have been going to this church and loving this church. He recommends it to everyone, and he doesn't stop recommending it to everyone, and neither do I. My husband couldn't be here for this, and as upsetting as it is, I'm really proud of him, because him and his unit are helping with the fires in Reading right now that are just absolutely horrible, and we're really missing him. Our boys, Troy and Riker, are desperately missing their daddy, but we know that he'll come home just fine. I am so thankful for everything that this church has to offer, and it's an incredible church. I love my church.